Welcome back, my dear friends. Welcome back, welcome back. Oh my goodness, if you did not hear this crazy news, you can consider yourself the luckiest person in the world. The more I see and observe things, the more I want to consider uh, living a life without uninformational life, just not knowing anything. I think it takes so much of our day, of our happiness, when we follow things too much. But unfortunately, we live, in most of us at least, live in civilization. I do highly recommend for mental health purposes, take big breaks from internet and from the updates, such as like today, such as I think only lucky people and people who live under a rock have not heard the ridiculous situation with Michelle Obama or Big Mike, however we want to call this persona. And yeah, it is so incredible that people in power and elite people can manipulate the public so much that we never know the truth. Truth is never official, it's always a conspiracy theory or some revelation that is sudden. But in this video, most of all, I would like to talk about the unfairness and how awful the children are victimized and treated with this um, projected, uh, sorry, with it projected transgenderism. I just want to say before I even start, calling a child, saying the expression transgender children doesn't make any sense, because transgender is something that people can do, or supposedly identify when they are fully formed. I don't believe that children are fully formed in any sexual way. They are developing, that's why they're still children. And children have so many stages, so many things they associate with. Um, Before it was okay to subject children to all this stupid, no, I can't even call it knowledge, to all this senseless information, they actually had a chance to be children and enjoy themselves. I believe that children cannot process this stuff. I would say even adults should not be processing this, but especially children, they are not even capable of even understanding all these stupid, unnatural concepts, much less being victimized by their parents with physical mutilations, with some weird hormones to change their gender for what? For under the influence of this insane woke culture, insane ideas of people who are not well, who are literally sick. And I just hope that somebody will stop that. This should not be allowed. I really hope that the current power, the current people in power will put an end to this, because nobody should, even the parents, should not have power over the children to mutilate them. I know they do some, in some countries in Africa, they do those things to young children, but you would think that in America it could be a little bit better than this, but I just I just can't believe that people just allowing this to happen. I just refuse to accept this, um that this is not against the law, this is not illegal, this is not prosecuted. And so painful to see someone that was supposedly a first lady, with not sure about certain things, is showing compassion showing empathy to the man who's supposedly raising a transgender kid, that she's so proud of the role model. It's just so mind-blowing, especially for those of us who have kids. For something changes in you when you becoming a parent, because you realize how vulnerable and unprotected children are and how they should be protected, not victimized, not given for experiments, not given to prove someone's point, not being mutilated to prove someone's point. I'm just absolutely speechless and heartbroken for this, that someone is trying to show their compassion, that they can totally relate, and how important that is. Most important thing in the world right now is to find role models for raising transgender kids, which is, this should not even be, once again, this should be an oxymoron. This should be a total, it should not even be a sentence, because there is no such a thing. Kids are kids. They are not even capable to understand what is going on. They're not sexually formed, and to call them this is so inappropriate and so unethical and should be absolutely illegal. They should not be exposed to these kind of things. And yeah, I just find it extremely, I find that this is such a dishonor, that we are listening to this. People are writing comments. Everybody want to say their opinion. Of course, I really suggest for this kind of things, when you're trying to understand who says what, when you're trying to discern things about certain slips and expressions that people say, their appearances, you should really watch analysis of people who do this professionally. I definitely have my opinion. That was kind of an entertaining part, I would say, because we already know, most of us understand the concept of Big Mike, whether we want it or not. Most of us don't want to know, but we do, unfortunately. And but it's interesting to see people who professionally analyze it, who not necessarily so much into the politics. Well, or maybe they are, but their analysis goes despite of the political affiliation, because you just analyze the manners, the way somebody says something. Is it comes out naturally, or is it something that just sometimes we all can make a mistake? But this was very interesting, and I have very, very strong feeling right away, because there are some things that just slip sometimes. And it's hard to fake things that just naturally slip. You need to have such a be having such an incredible speaker talent and ability to be so natural as it slipped in this video. I don't know if we can listen. I'm sure everybody heard this and don't want to listen to that again.
Michelle Obama today after a very awkward slip of the tongue during her latest podcast interview. I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender. Absolutely. And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of? Well, I learned.
Who says it warms my heart? It warms my heart. Whoever says that something like that could warm your heart? If you're a woman, if you are here to bring life, to raise children, to do all these things as you victimize yourself as a woman all the time. This is so popular. Oh yeah, I'm a woman and I'm black woman at that, and warms my heart, warms my heart, particularly as a black man, but it warms my heart. I don't know. I feel like this is just such a comedy, such a sad thing. And even if not for that slip, when somebody says that it warms their heart that somebody will that the child will endure the life of suffering, the child will absolutely endure the life of suffering, the life of regrets, the life of pain, a very undefined future, lots of pain and probably abuse, and uh, uh, how that can this can warm your heart. She only got lost when she started referring to the man that she was interviewing. Before that, the speech was pretty smooth, and there's just yeah, I do highly recommend you to watch people who professionally analyze it in a very nice way, with all the visuals and all the slow playbacks. It's really worth it to see because we're not gonna ever be told the truth, so it is sure nice to see. It's nice to see the analysis. There are actually ways to understand these things and to be able to read behind the lines. As they say, reading behind the lines is a skill, and we definitely need to develop this skill because nobody ever is going to tell us the truth. You really have to develop your thinking in this crazy world. You have to be able to discern things from the common sense perspective, from the political perspective, but I think most importantly it's so um it's so crucial to be able to read things behind the facade, and being able to get some skills or listen to skilled people to analyze those slips, so you won't be the last to find out. I feel that so often we are the last to find out about just about everything, and it's nice to have your own opinion. I got into into I was very passionate about this weekend, not because my goal was to convince somebody or say I'm right, not out of this, but because sometimes you see something and in your bones what just happened. You understand. In this particular situation, I don't know if you ever had this. I'm sure if you ever speak, you do have this happen. Sometimes you say something so stupid and or inappropriate for the occasion, and then you're trying to save it, and you try to reform your sentence. You maybe accidentally reveal information about somebody else, or you make a comment you realize is inappropriate. How many times, to be honest, I've had that happen, and or seen somebody else having that happen, and then you try to save the moment, and usually this is where you start to have hesitation, or there is a little you start stuttering, or you in a search for words because you're trying to save the situation so you don't look like a total jerk because you are acting out of the context or inappropriate, or you slip something. So I thought that was this part was kind of weird, kind of interesting in a weird way, and there is a lot of people who saying that he or she just not very eloquent, that they're bad speakers, or that they don't know how to convey a sentence. But that was, to me, that was just flowed it flowed so naturally, and one word was connected to another, and with a hand gesture on your chest, try to refer to somebody else when you put your hand on your chest. It's, I don't think it's even it's, I think it's impossible to do even for those extremely corrupt and dishonest people, because I think it's just part of our natural body language. When we usually subconsciously refer to ourselves when we're doing this gesture, and that's where the reference was made. So anyway, I will leave it to the professional people who are so good with analyzing this. And it's, this one I don't think was so hard to analyze because it was so obvious, and just so telling, and so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable to watch, and unpleasant. The once again, the for me, I would like to hear what you have to say about this. You know, maybe you're completely on the contrary, but the real pain point here for me is to see how right now the woke people in the United States are trying to sell, how the woke people are trying to sell compassion and empathy and humanity in this packaging of, oh, you know, these people are taking care of this different kid with special needs almost, when this is all self-inflicted and totally made up, and those children are totally abused. We don't, as parents, we don't do anything that child feels or says, because we keep in mind that this is a child. And you know, when I was growing up in late USSR or early post USSR time, we were eating mud. You know, we were playing outside, we were doing things and using our fantasies. You know, imagine, you know, being astronauts. You know, imagine being actresses. Imagine being all kind of things. You know, children associate themselves. They have these ideas all the time, and that is absolutely natural thing. It doesn't mean that, you know, if I wanted to be, um I don't know, if I wanted to be fly on the moon, or if I wanted to, if I decided that I was a doctor, it doesn't mean that, you know, my parents should give me the kid, not a toy kid, but a real kid for a real doctor, and I should go and operate people as a child just because I feel that I am a doctor. You know, it's, I just find it so insane that they find any reasons to set children for a lifelong pain. I find it so insane, and it just hurts me so much. I really start doubting my life choices and everything I see, and I just refuse to believe in this, that this is ghosts and people are okay with this. You know, I really refuse to imagine that there is a person in the world that would subject their child to any of this nonsense. But I would love to hear what you think about this. I don't know if I have any comments or no, or not yet. Welcome everybody who's watching, and let me mute this first of all. Yes, let's see. Oh, hello, hello. Yes, I don't know why I don't see comments on my phone, but I see them here right now on my other phone. Hello, Juan. Hello, Adam. Hello. Good to see you. Thank you for your comment. I'm gonna read it right now. Um, let's see. Adam is saying, greetings, Veronica. Once again, powerful, meaningful talking points. We have known about Big Mike all along. Yes. Barack has slipped up during speeches saying, yeah, Michael and I have heard that too. Yes. Plus, much more evidence. Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you understand anything about this kind of thing, you know. And, you know, most of us, Barack Obama doesn't strike us as a straight man in so many ways. But, you know, regardless the perversion of adult people and their choices, I just find it so painful that they just casually discuss children. And, you know, the I'm gonna say just the persona of Michelle Obama, when she's trying to show her empathy, that what hurts me the most. That what I think that's where the special place in hell is prepared for someone like that. That is just like, oh, you know, I just so touched by this. I am so touched by this. It warms my heart. It warms my heart that you cannot raise a child, you cannot give a child a proper self-concept, help a child um, you know, to develop, to have a real childhood, that you subject your child to weird, sexual, abnormal, perverted things. It just makes me so warm. Just my heart is so, I'm so proud. And I don't know, Adam. I don't know, and everybody who maybe will be watching or commenting, I find it devastating. I find it absolutely devastating. I'm so glad I didn't know all these things before I came to the United States. I don't know what to say. Welcome. Hello, hello. I really want to start talking about my favorite topics, and I'm even thinking to open another channel just for women. I mean, men are welcome who want to learn and understand better, women's nature, but I want to have a channel when there is only positive, only beautiful, inspiring things, puppies and butterflies, because this is too painful. This is really too painful. Let's see. I don't know why I cannot see the comments. I don't know. Just 1 second. I can see the comments actually on my other phone. So just 1 second. My fixing my headband. Okay. Off the beaten path. Welcome. Hello. I've always thought Hollywood was Hollywood, politician included. Yes. Lately, all this time, all the recent Hollywood is awful. I'm learning that it was not so great in the beginning. It's so painful because I don't know about any one of you who's watching, but I was so how to say this, enamored, so in love with old Hollywood. With golden era Hollywood is one of my biggest passion, and some of you guys know that I like glamour, especially like old style retro glamour. Those of you who follow me on Instagram knows it's like my favorite impersonation. It's like I just love it so much. And I understand now that even that time was corrupt, and a lot of women were forced to do things that they should not have been forced to be doing. But there was elegance, there was class, there was manners, there was beautiful, glamorous women. And well, what it turned into now is pure horror. I completely agree with the Hollyweird. It's Hollyweird to say the least. It's absolutely mortifying. The things that they are into is just heartbreaking. I absolutely agree. Hello, Jim. Good to see you. At least one guy came out about having relations. No American Barack, or you should be so proud of Ruslan. He's so well spoken. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, yes, he is. You probably seen the video with him. Yes, I'm gonna record another one with him maybe when we are in a more stable situation. But yes, I mean stable in terms of we were moving when recording the video. I just didn't want him to be uncomfortable. I almost told him, we really don't have to record anything if you don't feel like it. But then he felt like sharing. Yes, he has very strong beliefs on this, and I'm so glad. It is so difficult as a parent. Um, you have to fight against this machine as a child. To put doubt in your mind, in your heart, about how to raise your children. They try to undermine children when you are not around. It's just they try to show this very, they try to effeminate boys anyway, with clothes, with styles, with making them confused, with giving this false idea of this gender fluent stuff. I don't know. I just find it so extremely weird, so awful, and I feel that I wonder if, I mean, what can we really do about this? As how do we protect our children? I mean, obviously, put a little bit of light. Um, Obviously, wait, I don't know if that's going to work. Sorry, guys. Obviously, a lot of smart people do not subject their children to public education and public schools because they are becoming unbearable. They are becoming unbearable. But yeah, what else do we do? I think bringing children in healthy environment, having healthy influence, um, learning them how to think, learning them, teaching them things, and also showing them example with your own life. And one of the most incredible important skills right now is critical thinking. Like, just because, also having discipline, just because your child wants something, it doesn't mean they get to get this. Like I said, if I felt I was a doctor, nobody in their mind would just give me, when I was 8 years old, nobody in their mind would give me, a knife, an operating knife, and say, you if you feel that in your spirit, if you really align with being a doctor, if that makes you happy, go and operate children, I mean, operate in a hospital. Nobody will do it because everybody would understand, oh, that's cute, that's a cute game, but actually, no, you shouldn't be doing this, because well, you're a child. Have fun with that, have fun. How many personalities you wanted to be when you were a kid? Feel free to write it in the chat. Like, how many personalities you felt like you associating with when you were a child? I was just about anyone. What's interesting, talking about gender, mm, I believe I shared this before with some of my subscribers previously, but I was maybe 8, 9 years old, and I had an older brother that was 6 years older. In Ukrainian and Russian language, the endings of the words of the verb side depend on the gender. So if you are female, your endings are different than the male's different than the world for male gender, right? For men, for boys. And so I remember when I think I was about 8, like 9, 10, something somewhere there. When I was looking at my older brother, I thought he was cool, and I didn't want to be a girl. I thought it was so lame to be a girl because you want to copy your sibling, and of course, and I started speaking like he's speaking. So I started responding to things like a boy. It's very funny, but I started speaking like a boy, and I remember my mom was and my dad was like not sure what to make of it, but nowhere in the world they were thinking. I don't even know if they knew about this kind of thing. I mean, they probably knew, but it wasn't anything. Uh, that would be last thing on their mind to think that I was born in the wrong body, and I was kind of like a tomboy. I had that period when I was a tomboy. I didn't like to do anything with girls. I thought it was lame. I was copying identity of my brother. I wanted to do the same things, wear the same things. I wanted to be cool. I remember that. It's a very vivid memory, and I don't know how long it lasted, but it lasted for a while, and I believe my parents just let me be an imaginary boy in my mind, and then where did it go? It's those temporary things that kids are into. Imagine if this would happen here with this woke parents, and I was be raised here in this time, and I would wanted to wear boys' clothes and speak. Well, in English it's the same, but let's say there was a different manner to speak for boys and girls. It was a difference. They would operate me or operate a child like this. It doesn't make any sense. The children are trying to figure themselves out. They are not sexually formed. They cannot even take these decisions. They have no idea. They want to eat mud. As far as I remember, they want to have fun. They want to play different roles. And, talking about playing roles, I remember we were changing dresses. I remember my mom would dress my older brother like a girl. Has no weird message in this. It's just my brother was very handsome, and my mom was just she just curious, how he would be if he was a boy, or I mean if he was a girl. It's just a thing that almost every mother, it's just a thing to laugh, just like a costume. There was no sexual connotation to this, no double meaning, no, it was just curiosity. He had very beautiful eyes, and I actually remember that I was laughing. It was so funny. It's just sometimes interesting to see. Sometimes all of us wonder, how would you be if you were born a man or if you were born a woman. Sometimes it's just I don't even know. I think for mothers it's just like some fun to laugh and so on. But now if you do something like this, it's, oh my gosh, it's just gonna be taken so wrong. And um now you would be not even thinking of doing something like this because it would be some crazy virtue signaling, whatever you want to call that. It's just like it's things became so weird that even if you would do some things for fun, now you wouldn't, because it would have such a negative and terrible meaning. Oh my goodness, it's just awful. It's just awful. I just hope that this victimization of children will stop, and it will be illegal. I don't know. Is it illegal in any state? Who knows? Who knows the answer? Wait, wait. Sorry. I think they should be illegal. Any alterations of the body, any mutilations, unless somebody is sick and dying, it should be illegal. It absolutely. I hope that the current president and the current power will not allow this. But anyway, my dear friends, I'm just so uneasy. When you have family, when you have children, you have nieces, nephews, you have people, you care about the future when you're not gonna be here, and and also you care about future, like what is gonna be like. It feels crazy right now. It feels insane already. What is gonna be like 10, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? It's so much confusion, so much confusion for the young minds who are forming. And I don't even know. The one thing that make does inspire me is that I believe that more people are against it than for it. We saw this previous election, because I think it goes a lot further than politics. It's that more than half of the people reject this ideology, this weird stuff, this destruction of the family. To me, honestly, I'm going to finish with this. To me, I see this as a push of the destruction of society, weakening of society, confusing, and really something that will, if multiplies, will lead to actual genocide. Because as we know, no matter how many operations you will make, a biological male can never become a female. a um, a biological female can never become a male. You can never reproduce. You can never really feel the sensations that you would feel um, as your natural born gender. And yeah, it just any good idea does not become an evil is won't become evil if you multiply it. For example, if the idea is to get married, have a lot of children, no matter how you multiply it is a good thing. But any evil idea multiplied means a danger and a threat. So if everyone want to be in trend, every kid, every teenager want to be in trend and want to be a transgender, for example, right? Uh, if you multiply that, if absolutely everyone, God forbid, but if absolutely everyone will become the transgender, right? The non-traditional orientation, not obviously not able to have children, right? Not able to procreate, the life will stop. The life on the planet Earth will stop because same gender, no matter how you adjust it, cannot produce a life. That's why it is so evil. We came here, we were given a gift, despite of world suffering, despite of poverty, despite of everything. We came here into this world. That was a gift from God, from our parents, from nature. We were given that gift. The logical thing is to pass it on. That's a natural thing. It doesn't take some extreme way to figure it out. That was the intention. We continue the life, we continue the cycle. But the evil in this world in just want to stop and confuse and stop the life. It's just absolutely awful. This is just absolutely unacceptable and absolutely awful. And I believe 100% in my heart and just using logic that this truly is a planned genocide for people. It's not just innocent, let's reverse some roles, let's play. um it's very unnatural, it's evil, absolutely evil. Adam is saying it's a spiritual welfare, it needs to be fought and spoken out against at least. Yes, I really so tired of this people that revoke again and again this kind of topics. But this is just the world we live in, that's why it's so important to ignore this in general. And talk to young people. I think it's so important. I can't even imagine what it is, how it feels like for people, for young children who are coming up right now, how confusing this must be. So as parents or as people, we should, as mature people, people who are adults, we really should be talking to youth. We really should be, just showing common sense with our examples, because I just really don't know where it goes. And I felt so much pain when I was listening to this little piece of the interview. Nobody's trying to watch that. And yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they're trying to sold us, to sell us. I wonder if they believe in it. I just think that there is no return, and there is no return from this when men are exposed to this kind of things, when they are broken, when men becoming victims also, young men, young boys becoming victims of this extreme agenda. and they taken advantage of and they try to change them. My heart is, if I was in power, I would have the worst punishment for this, to try to hurt somebody like that, to try to take dignity of a man and turn him into, for a woman is natural. Men and women were created for each other. But doing something like this to little boys should really be punished so harshly that it just never happens, so that it's not, nobody's tempted to do that. I cannot. Oh my gosh, I would be the most ruthless person if that would be up to me. Ruthless. I cannot even imagine. Oh, all right, guys, it's getting so dark. Soon I'm gonna be making my videos it a lot better, with a lot better circumstance. But right now, um, I just want to share this with you, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. And we're gonna be cutting off because it's getting super dark. Thank you, one of. I appreciate. What's your name? You have a really weird, strange nick, but I appreciate the thought. Yes, I really, really appreciate the kind words, of course. Yes, you've done a great job raising your son. So there is hope. I too have an incredible son who's 25 and I love him dearly. Yes, it takes a lot of dedication from us as parents. When you raised a child who have common sense, who just does not even consider these ideas for a minute, it does mean that you did a great job. Of course, it takes a village to raise children. So um, I am very grateful for the influences, masculine influences that he had in his life, and role models, and he just reject all of it. He is even more extreme than I am, a lot more extreme, which he's supposed to be because he has testosterone, a lot more testosterone than I do. But anyway, my dear friends, yes, I want to hear what you think about this. If you watch this video later, and thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, Adams. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, for being on my platforms. I really, really appreciate you. You guys are very valuable for me, and thank you for being here. And I really, really appreciate the support. And thank you, Jim, long time subscriber. Tony, thank you. I like Tony better. Thank you, Tony. Yes, I know you have been with me for a while as well. I don't know, I don't have any of my classic mods to drop my information, but I'm sure that you know how to find it. I will fix it for description in this video. All right, guys, I'm fading into the dark. I actually have to be somewhere too. So I have to go, but yes, let me know if we don't have time anymore now. Let me know in the comments, in the permanent comments of this video, what did you think about the big sleep, big Mike, big sleep revelation? And of course, many people know, but the way it happened, I just think it is so it is pretty hysterical the way it happened, the way is how naturally it flows. How sometimes when you try to speak on public, sometimes it's hard to, sometimes we all have bad days, whether we are in public with people, whether we are trying to make a video or trying to do a live or having a conversation. Sometimes you lost for words, you have those bad days. Definitely I'm the one to have them often. But sometimes things just flow. I just loved how this flowed this time. It just flowed so naturally. Nobody in the world gonna convince me otherwise, because I've seen it, unfortunately heard it a number of times. And it's a great thing to learn how to discern just for your life when people are lying, or when things are getting revealed because you forgot to control them. It was a very natural flow in that particular clip of conversation. But I highly recommend watch the body language channels. My favorite is of course the body language guy. here on YouTube. He does such a beautiful breakdown of these videos with all the editing, with all the, so you can actually get great skills watching it. So I highly recommend. He already have like a gazillion amount of people, which I think he deserves 10 times more, or I don't know. He deserves everyone in the world to watch to gain the knowledge. It goes beside the political things. It's just so fascinating, and I was always interested in these kind of things. And yes, there are some things that naturally flow, and well, at least there is something natural about you know uh the big Mike Michelle Obama persona. But yes, anyway, my dear friends, I'm fading into the dark. I'm fading into the dark. Thank you so much. And a special thank you for those of you who support me on my coffee site. Really appreciate that. It means so much to me. Those of you who comment under the videos, who share my videos, who come and say hello. Thank you so very much. And I hope to get better at this and continue coming on and sharing thoughts with you and ideas, and have the common sense platform where we can just vent and share things, and of course sharing insights about women's mind. I'm actually right now working on a women's channel which will be aimed for women, but you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about women's nature if you are curious on that channel. But that channel is going to be purely positive. It's just going to be puppies, rainbows, butterflies. Beautiful things about masculine and feminine, but more for feminine perspective. I realize I don't want to die. I mean, I hope not anytime soon, but in general, as a perspective, I realize I don't want to die before I share with women everything I know that could improve their life. I will see you very soon. And yes, some of you, one last thing, some of you reached out to me and asked if I do my consultations. For those of you who are dating Slavic women who still into common sense and who want to understand, have some confusion in the dynamics. So if you, I am just answering here. If you're still watching, yes, you can reach out to me. I will have all my information under this video below. All right. With that being said, I will see you. Wait, I will see you very soon. Thank you, my dear friend.